appear here. So now let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. In our chat list, in the chat list body here, I'm going to create a div chat list item. I'm going to have div chat list image container. I'm going to have an image. Then we can just copy this, pick some source. All right, just replace that. Let's add an image of let's say 150. All right, here after the ID, just change this to any number that you want. All right, and then next we're going to also have another element, chat list. Let's say info. So in the info here, we're going to have top row div dot user name. Now let's call this list username. Make this a span with a class of date. All right, so inside this thing, let's just auto arrange that format document so it can look pretty. All right, so in the chat info we have this top row, and now the second row, make sure it's bottom row. All right, and then in here we're going to have dot message body. All right, and then after the message body we're going to have unread count. All right, let's make this to 56 maybe. 56 message body lorem. All right, this is a very long text. And then in here date, let's say 2D, 2 days ago. Username John. Here the image. So first, if we go right now to our browser and try to refresh, it's gonna be so ugly. There's nothing here showing so good. So actually the image is not showing, so we're gonna go back, and then here in the image, maybe let's say 200. Yeah, so an image of 200 is available. So now we're going to design this section here. So let's go back, Visual Studio, and then we're going to start by designing the chat list item first and the image. So we're going to go back to our chat list. Let me just copy the image container, go back, the chat list body, and let's just paste this, chat list item. In here we're going to type chat list image container. Chat list image container. Okay, so now the chat list item is going to have a display of flex wrap, no wrap. All right, width of 100%. All right, chat list image container, height 40 pixels, the width of 40 pixels, border radius of 50%. All right, for now. So let's go back to our thing. In here we're going to copy the chat list info, copy that. Then in here, just inside our chat list item, all right, format that like inside our chat list item, but after chat list container, here just below, make a dot, paste that, write a width 80%, so it can give space for the image container. And then in here, display flex wrap, no wrap. All right, and then in the chat list info here, we have another class. Inside our chat list info, this one, we have a top row. Inside our chat list info, there's a top row, dot top row. All right, this is going to be display flex. Right, inside the top row there's another class called list username, right, dot like that, list username. It's going to be font size 16 pixels, right, and then go back there, get a date in the top row, here after the list username in the top row, get a date and paste it there. This is going to be margin left, or wanted to flex to the right. Here we're going to come back to our list name. Let's make the width of 80%. so it cannot overlap the date. And then if we go back to our date font size, let's make this 14 pixels. All right, now next thing, we're going to go back to our bottom row. The bottom row is going to be under the chat list info here, not inside the top row. So copy the bottom row, go back to our chat list info, this main container here, where it ends. All right, and just type a class bottom row. Then here we're going to make it display flex, of course. And then here down below we have the message body here. We have the message body and the unread count. So we're going to do the same as this one actually. Let's just format the document. All right, bottom row. We're going to do the same as this one. All right, so inside the bottom row, add this class, message body. Width of this should be 80%. All right, width of the bottom row should be also 100%. Top row width 100%. And then in the body, we're gonna add a bootstrap class actually, but for now let's just leave it like that. And then if we go back to our unread count, in here make this flex wrap, no wrap. And then inside our bottom row, just on the bottom here, add a class, paste the class unread count, make this margin left, auto. Right, and then font size 14 pixels. Our background color, Gainsborough, padding, let's say 6 pixels by 11 pixels. Border radius 50%. Alright, color gray and black. Let's come here to like that. Alright, font weight lighter. So let's go back to our Chrome and then hopefully everything's working. So alright, so not so pretty. We gotta do a few things. So we have the image there, the title, but this is not coming because the error was here on the chat list. Here we must remove this one to flex wrap, no wrap. Make the display to block, not flex. That's why it gave us that thing. And then here, refresh. All right, now the name and the date, the body, and the unread messages count. All right, so in here, we're just going to go back to our chat list. And then in the body here, we're going to add a class, a bootstrap class called text truncate. All right, so now it's looking good. All right, so this is now the basic design of this. So let's just finish it up in this same video. So in the next video, we can move on to the chat list container. So here, we're going to, let's go back to our Visual Studio and go to our chat.css, format the document. All right, and then in here, in the image chat list image container, let's add image class here. Image, make it a class, and then copy this to there. Image item, add a padding here, 2 pixels and 8 pixels. Width should be 100 of the image. Height should be 100%. All right, and the chat list info, a small padding of 2 pixels. Then here, let's add 5 pixels. Okay, let's go back to our Chrome and look how it's looking now. All right, almost perfect, but not really as I wanted. All right, so this is looking okay, but too big. This is okay, and that is lorem. Okay, so now let's go back to our chat list container here. Let us just copy this one. All right, copy these 2 files and then go back to our chat list image container, paste the code, and then in the unread messages count, this is too big of a thing. Let's add 7 and maybe here 2 pixels. Let's make the font size of this to 13 pixels. The font size of the date to 13 pixels. The font weight of the message body should be font weight lighter. Actually, font family, before we added a font family of Roboto in the beginning, which is like thinnest text. Roboto, so now it's going to come in handy now. And then the bottom one, the top row should have a margin of 4, let's say 3 pixels, all right, and then 0 pixels. So if I go back to the Chrome and refresh, all right, now we have something good and clean like this, a very thin text here, the name, the date, and the unread messages count. Let me just increase the size of this one. In the image container here, let's add a 47 and a 47. Here is going to be like that, or the big image unread messages count is right here. Let's change the text of that unread messages count color to red. All right, font weight lighter, and the radius is also a little bit big, 2 pixels. All right, so if we go back now and refresh, all right, it's now looking good. All right, the name, the title, the picture, and the date of when this thing was sent. All right, so now this is all for this video. In the next video, I'm just going to work on the chat box container, so we can set the messages, the send message here, the header, and all that. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. See you in the next video, and you can go through the CSS if just to make sure that you understand everything. And if you don't want, you can just watch through the video. I'll paste the code in the resources, so you can just copy and paste all the code in here for now, for this current stage where we at. All right, so see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.